Hello, everybody. So happy that you're here with me. I get a question all the time about how do I stand out? How do I make my NFT collection not feel like it's completely invisible? And I have been, answering them in one-offs, but I think that the overarching theme is something that we can tackle together. And I think that this video is going to be very helpful if you are an NFT artist who is looking to either position their collection in a certain way or come up with a utility for their collection, or even if you haven't even started a collection yet, this will be really good for you to just kind of go through the process and think about these topics, because right now what I'm seeing is a lot of people are coming into this space, a lot of collections are coming, and they are just providing utility that is something that they can offer because they've done it before, they feel comfortable, or that's just where their skill set is at. I've also seen a big onslaught of people doing the same thing. And I think that there's a lot of new people coming into the space. They are seeing what's working. And so they're following suit. They're learning, which is not bad. But if you want to really, truly create your legacy in this space and truly stand out, you need to do things a little bit differently. And you need to do things that are unique to you and unique to your community, your soul family, and what they really want. So I'm going to take you through this diagram that I created a few years ago, and it actually was based around creating and crafting your messaging, which it can still be used to do that. However, it can also be used when deciding on what utility that you want to offer. Basically, any business decision in regards to bringing something to life, whether it's your marketing, whether it's a product, service, anything like that. So let me share my screen and we're just going to dive into it. And, I created this. I love creating diagrams, and I don't know how to pronounce it. There's like ikigai or ikigay. That is, this is a diagram. I actually have it here. Let me show you. And it's about determining, basically, wait, your reason for being, your purpose. And so this is actually really good to look at, if you are kind of questioning, like, what is my purpose? What am I here to do in my life? What is going on? And I think a lot of women, especially, who are coming in to the Web3 space or want to come into the Web3 space and get out of Web2 or get out of their current job, where they're starting to face this. And I faced this when I started creating my first agency about 7 years ago. So this is actually a great graph for you to look at in regards to your purpose. It's about doing what you love, having fun, and doing something that the world actually needs and that you can get paid for. So take a look at this. And what I crafted was, okay, based on that, once you actually find your purpose and what you want to do, like, how does that fit into NFT? How does that fit into Web3? How does that fit into you creating something that can actually get you paid and set you apart from the competition? So this one is all about finding your core message. Let me blow this up if I can. So think about this, and I want you to actually sit down and journal on this. How I like to do things is not, hey, how are you different? Let me sit down and answer that question. I want you just to kind of like flow with it and journal and kind of, eventually like let it take over, not even think about it, just to let your pencil flow. Don't even think about answering the question. Think about it, but don't line it up and be like, question one, and give it a one, sentence answer. Like, fully sit down, and you don't ever need to come up with a one word answer, one sentence answer. It's just really to get your brain flowing into, okay, like, what can I create knowing what my purpose is now? So think about how you are different. You're coming into the space, and, you could be different through something that you're offering. You could be different through what your background is. You could be different from just your personality, through your hobbies. Like these are all parts of you that make you different. And right here, I say your niche, and that doesn't mean that you need to niche down. I'm personally a big fan of niching down, but you can niche down by just being yourself. As NFT artists, our personal brand is just as important as, what our niche is in the normal sense of niche, like, getting very granular on what you offer. So think about how you're different and, do it all. Like, are you sensitive? Are you a manifesting generator? If you're into human design, do you like to make, do your best decisions come from when you get a gut response? Do your best decisions come after you think about it for a while? Think about all the ways that you're different. What did you do growing up? Were you a troublemaker? Were you really artistic? Are you still really artistic? What kind of art do you like? What kind of medium do you paint with? Like literally list it all out. Honestly, give yourself a full hour with this. Go somewhere beautiful, go somewhere outside that gets your juices flowing, I hate that phrase, that gets your creativity flowing and get you in the state of really opening up to the universe, in order to receive these downloads of, just really internalization and thinking about how you are truly different. For me, I grew up dancing. I was a huge dancer. Dancing is a huge part of my life. When I feel really stuck or stressed or stagnant, I have to dance it out, or run it out. So, dance is a very important part of my life. My TikToks, you'll see a lot of dancing, things like that. My background is in marketing. What I truly love is strategy and getting more into like this insightful, psychological part of marketing. So that's how I would say I'm different, is like, I love creating these diagrams. I love getting into the deeper essence of who we are, what we're supposed to be, and what we're supposed to put out into this world. All right, then you have your industry trends. So what's going on? I can tell you right now that the industry trends are that a lot of people are launching NFT collections that are focused on onboarding women into this space. All right, that's great. I love it. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do, but you really need to focus on how you are different and how you're doing it better if you're going to go that route. Me personally, if you haven't, actually, I haven't even fully announced this yet at the time of this video, except on a podcast that's not live yet. I've given you clues to some logos in here, but I am launching a networking community for women in the Web3 space. And it's not about onboarding women, but it's about the women who are already onboarded. They know how to mint. They are looking to start creating their collection if they haven't already. And now we're going to talk about, okay, how do we scale? How do we keep our floor price from dropping? What should I pay? I have a new Web3 business. What should my payment plans be like? What should my fees be? So these are all like, very different conversations that somebody's going to be having. So I looked at that, and I also looked at, which is actually going to get into consumer insight down here. I looked into what people were asking me in Twitter spaces. I went and listened to Twitter spaces, and also people were coming into my DMs. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm different, the industry trends that I'm seeing, and there's no right or wrong answer depending on what you do, depending on what you're seeing. Your industry trends can be so different. There could be a trend that there's a bear market right now. It could be anything and everything. And then my consumer insight, like, what are you seeing? Who is your ideal client? Who do you want in your soul family? Who do you want to purchase? Who do you want to be in your community forever? Really hone in on who that is. And if you can find one person that is like, would be the perfect person you want in your community, go and follow them on Twitter. Go see what Twitter spaces they're in. Go see what they're tweeting about. And you can really find and figure out, what they need and what they want. I just did a free masterclass on success keys. That's what it's called, success keys, on how you can do that and how you can really understand what makes people buy. Go look at that, intertwine this into your consumer insight. And then again, how are you helping? Be very specific. I'm offering marketing support for women in the Web3 space. Yours would be something very different. Yours could be, I'm offering clarity in, messaging around your launch. It can be very specific. It could be broad. I'm here to help with mental health and awareness. So just think about it. Again, you shouldn't even have one answer. You should have hundreds and hundreds of answers. And then you can start to, really pick out which ones stand out to you. And you can really start crafting your brand in regards to these like special insights. Take a look back after you've done your brain dump after the hour, and maybe even take a break, walk away, come back and see what really gives you chills. For me, I know that when something is truth for me, I get chills. When somebody says something and I get chills, I know I need to pay attention to that. So if that happens to you, it might be, a flutter in your stomach. Feel into that and see what is calling you to really, again, craft your brand, craft a messaging, crafting your utility and your community. Even if it's just like different content ideas, these could all be different content ideas that you are helping and posting, helping your community out and posting in your Discord, posting in Twitter. And, I don't want you to go through and be like, oh my gosh, I don't have this locked in. I don't have that. That's okay. This graph can look confusing. Don't let it be confusing. Just go through this, and really this is to spark ideas for you and give you something to journal on. But I do want to go in, that if you don't know and you haven't thought about, how you are, filling your gap, then you're not solving a problem, if that makes sense, a problem that is actually like needed right now. Like there's plenty of people solving that. So that's what this means. So these are the questions you want to look for. How you're different plus industry trends equals your niche. Industry trends plus consumer insight is basically how you're going to fill the gap, because it's your consumer insight, so that's what is needed in your space or what people want. And then how you're helping plus your consumer insight, like what's your promise to these consumers? And then how you're helping versus how you're different, that's your competitive edge. So it's just trying to show you how this all works together, and if all three of these, how you're different, how you're helping consumers, but you're not aware of industry trends, then, again, you might not be solving really like a problem that's in the industry. So you can kind of see how this all works together, how you're helping, how you're different in industry trends, but you don't have a consumer insight. That means you probably have a promise or could have a promise that your consumer doesn't care about. So again, just go through all of these and really make sure that you have some sort of insight into them. It doesn't mean that you need to touch on all four of these for all of the utility, for all of your messaging, but it is very good to be very cognizant of what this is and what this looks like in your business. All right. So when you are done and you are picking out those pieces that really light you up, you can fill them in. You maybe even have like a few, like maybe you have like your top 3 in each bucket and how they all work together. Maybe it's just one and that's what you're going to roll with, but you can at least then take this, post it on your wall when you're crafting messaging, when you're making decisions in your business, and how you're connecting with people. And also give it to your team. If you ever have a virtual assistant that comes on and help, if you have a person with your marketing, give this to them. If you have an artist coming on, make sure that they know this. These are all just really guidelines into staying true to how you're showing up consistently. All right. I hope that helped. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you found this useful.